you feel that the kind of underlying political and social messages in horror films are being lost for the generation of horror in general, the zombie films?
I see very precious little metaphor for social criticism, social satire. I don't see a lot of it. I think a lot of these, this culture point stuff for me is just what means period. And I don't, no one has yet been able to explain to me what number was it about, other than instead of desensitized, the fact that it's done so.
Earlier you referenced video games. Do you think other media are starting to pick that up a little bit? Like where video games maybe are doing a little bit more, as they become more cinematic, right? And games are costing hundreds of millions of dollars to make now. I don't know how many of you are in the industry, but you mentioned it, so I'm curious if you have any thoughts.
I think it could be a bit mind-numbing. I mean, I think that it's so involving, it's way more involving than the film, of course, because you're in it. And I think that even, I think that there's a danger of it. I'm not a gamer, so I can't speak from it. I mean, I haven't played a video game. It's very original Nintendo stuff. So, yeah, Steve Cameron was good.
Yeah, I mean, you asked me, Clint was good. There are some video games I play. Actually, Left 4 Dead scares me a lot. It's a great game, there's a little scares me. I heard that. You guys heard that too. Yeah, you can, so like everything, exactly. You say that, I can't say come back to what it's the thing you said. I think you can get lost in all sorts of different media, and I think that the new media that is out there is so brand new that we don't quite know what to do with it. And I'm born after what? I think the Gene Farrell trusted that study. Born before 85, you're a digital immigrant. After 85, you're a digital native. I'm a digital immigrant. So I don't really get this stuff so well, although all my patients do. And it is engrossing. It does draw you in. And the extent to which it's social connectedness or not, I think is one to grab. Can I ask you a question? Yeah. You and I have had this discussion offline. This discussion about whether it's always possible to avoid a fight.
Oh, yeah.
And it came about in talking about The Quiet Man versus the wonderful John Wayne movie. Really great. The slow-moving zombies, it seems like you can definitely avoid a fight with them, right? But the humans always end up fighting there. So that to me would be the take on why I would always sort of vote for the slow-moving zombies. And I'm wondering if that's the way you're thinking about it.
Yeah, to some extent. I mean, really, it just, I was always, I find it scarier. I mean, this is odd for me to say because I don't think of my zombie films, except for the very first one. I don't think I've ever really just been trying to be scary. I've never tried to get at it, really get under your skin with it. But I do think that it's a little scary. And it's also, as you say, it just gives more opportunity for people who ought to be able to handle this situation. In the case of Dawn of the Dead, they just get obsessed with the idea of taking on the mom. They, in fact, are able to do that. They figure out a way to, lock the doors with trucks, and they go around and they kill all the zombies, and never get into too much danger of doing that. And I just like that kind of situation. And I thought that expressed it really well. And in the closed environment of the mall, they were able to get it and keep on the road out there in chaos. And it's only when these raiders come in and take down the barricades the zombies get enough of it.
As they progress, the zombies become more human, have more zombies. Is that consciously, or is that just an evolving?
Oh, do I?
Yeah,
They want you to stay there.
do that one.
I don't, again, it's not really conscious in that way. I mean, that's not really that's not the operative thing when I'm sitting there and writing the script. It's usually just that I look for situations that you ought to be handleable, and people just wind up screwing it up for themselves.
But in some ways, the actual zombie characters start to work together, right? They start to work
Oh, as far as
together.
that, I mean, I think that's probably just a result of my sympathies run with the zombies. Right? I've always sort of sympathized with the monster, right? I mean, very often we're supposed to. It's, Karloff, or Tom. You feel sorry for the guy.
So does that mean you feel sorry for zombies, or do you
Yeah.
just empathize?
Is it hard then, going back to the technical topic of this theme here, to then empathize with the fast zombies, right? Because they're just these angry beasts as opposed to these slow, shambling, moving.
Well, it's harder for me. I mean, I never consciously thought, gee, this is one of the reasons to make them slow. To me, they're dead. They have to be a little stiff. And I don't think that they went to, join a health club the moment they woke up. And so, to me, there's just a certain logic to it. Right? They just need to show those signs. Someone asked me today at my table, well, yeah, but their brain is running them. So why don't you like the idea of them talking, and why couldn't they be more active? It just doesn't make sense to me. It's just not my zombie. And then at some point, that's what it has to come down to. It's just that's what I like. I like this kind of zombie, and this is the way I think he or she will behave.
I'm assuming here in the creation of Night of the Living Dead, you weren't thinking about the neurological bases for...
Not at all. Not at all.
Sure that didn't matter.
I wasn't thinking of any rules.
Yeah.
They were eating insects in Night of the Living Dead, and there were a couple of them that were, kind of agile. I never thought I'd be making another one. I thought it was a one-off. I never thought we'd ever make another zombie flick or flesh eater flick. And so I wasn't thinking very long-term in terms of rules at all. It was only in the second film that made a few of those decisions.
Do you think that when Night of the Living Dead first came out, some of the reviews were pretty, startlingly not nice? And it was shrink. I want to try to make it. I almost wonder if it was the slow, shambling nature of it that folks found so unsettling that made people feel it was so potentially, almost subversive. I mean, people were really frightened of the idea of it. And scary people have been chasing other people forever in movies. This was new.
I guess maybe. I mean, I've never thought of it in those terms. I just thought it was more the, sort of the family unit is a mess, and the idea of the lead being an African American, which was almost an accident. When we wrote the script, in our minds, Jack Russo and I, when we wrote the script, in our minds, he was a white guy. And when Dwayne agreed to play the role, it really completely changed the dynamic. We didn't change the script, and now I look back on it, and I think that maybe we should. I think maybe we missed a couple of good discussion points there. But I think those were the things that everything, the young lovers get burned up in the truck. The family is like literally eating itself alive. And I think those were the subversive things that maybe